we hear this thing a lot of times, tell me your why, your what's your inspiration, and we give these feel-good answers. It's almost like we're singing "We Are the World," the Michael Jackson song. It's feel-good stuff, right? It sounds good to the masses, but it's not the truth. It's what we think people want to hear.
You want to be a leader during this disruptive technological pandemic landscape and beyond. You know that an intentional mindset shift backed with action and responsible management can renew our global relationship to wealth, health, spirituality, and each other. These are the keys to achieving a balanced lifestyle. In this podcast, your host, Lady Doris Choto, will help you rise to your potential. With a mindset shift, you will put your skills and talents to the highest use and shine with a spirit of excellence. What a man thinketh, so is he. You were born to achieve whatever you want, so spread your wings and soar like an eagle. We are building a leadership community, nationally and internationally. A hub for the leaders of today and tomorrow. We are here to take action because it's time for a mindset shift that will lead to a paradigm of wealth, health, spirituality, and relationships. Please welcome Lady Doris Choto.
Sir Julian Hayes, how are you? How are you? I am glad to hear that you're doing great, and really happy that you have found time to be on this mindset of excellence space to share your amazing ideas. And I was just reading your profile and was amazed at the amount of things that you've done, your journey, starting in wanting to study to be a doctor and looking at how you wanted to be an ophthalmologist, and I was like, wow, we need to hear more about this. And how you are so focused on really focusing on leadership, on CEOs, and talking about health and people thriving and balancing finance and health. And when I read about being 100 and still being full on, I was like, yes, this is so exciting. And I think that's what we need to understand in today's world, how we can manage that space of health, of mental well-being. And I will just say to you, thank you and salute to you for finding time so that our audience can hear the amazing ideas, the life-changing, inspirational, impactful knowledge that you have. And I will just say, over to you. Tell us more about yourself, because you have all this experience that we are excited about.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. I truly do. And anytime, like I said, anytime somebody wants to give me the honor of hearing me talk about something, I'm truly honored. It's almost the same as being invited to someone's house and getting a home cooked meal. So thank you for that. Now, for me, it boils down to just curiosity. That's just my word that leads me to everything is curiosity. And to continually ask what's next. And so, whether that's starting in medical school, where just the possibility of trying something like that, it wasn't something that's known in my family. My family's all blue collar. There's no such thing as an entrepreneur, business owner, no one going to medical school, none of that. But luckily, I had exposure. I had exposure through university. I had exposure through mentors. And just the idea of that propelled me. And when I'm in school for that year, some of my friends, they really love the idea of being a physician.
Yes.
And for me, I really love the idea of just the information, the science, the possibilities. So they are practitioners, they're doctors today, and they're great practitioners. But for me, I was a little all over the place. And so it was more like, I'm going to take this stuff over here, and then I'm going to take some of my interests over here, and then over here, and then I'm just going to just throw it all together like it's a blender, and we're just going to see what comes out of it, and then we're just going to roll with it and go from there. And for me, it goes along with my philosophy of just the purpose of life for me, which is simply growth, and evolution.
Wow. Growth and evolution. So tell us more about growth and evolution.
Yeah. So, sometimes that's too big of an idea for someone, or someone has a hard time to just conceptualize. What does that mean? How does that look on a day-to-day basis? And so I simply say, think about this. Every single day, I want you to think about if you can get 1% better. And they're like, how do I know if I'm getting 1% better? Well, think about maybe 2 of the 3 things that you're going after right now. Say it's with your health right now. What can you do today to get just a little bit better with your health? And for a lot of people, that's simply keeping the promises that you make to yourself. So if you're supposed to go to the gym today, you go to the gym. If you're supposed to do your walk today, you go for your walk. Once you get past that level of consistency, then it's maybe, okay, if my walk is going well, maybe I can walk a little faster.
Yeah.
If my run's going well, maybe I could improve my running a little bit. Maybe over time, my heart rate starts to improve. My HRV starts to improve. My fitness, my body composition, you name it, it starts to improve. And you can apply the same thing to your relationships, to your business, to your career, any metric. But every day, it's pretty much imagining a calendar as well. And every day, you're going to put an X or a check mark on today, that I did the 2 to 3 things that are most important in my life to propel me forward. And these are small things that, if you do over time, will give you a very high likelihood of accomplishing that big thing that you want.
Amazing. And you mentioned health, and you talked a few diagnoses that people may have, and some people get stuck in that. What would you advise a CEO, a leader who has got some medical, something that they need to be dealing with?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, let's get rid of the word problem or illness or symptom or all these things, right? I want you to dissociate yourself from whatever this thing is. Whatever this thing that you have right now, that is merely a situation. It is not part of your identity. So we need to keep those 2 things separate. So that's the very first thing. Next is, a lot of times you'll hear people say, I'm just not feeling motivated these days, or I just have a hard time getting up and doing this thing. And I need people to revisit why, and really need to reacclimate themselves to why it's important. And we hear this thing a lot of times, tell me your why, what's your inspiration? And we give these feel-good answers. It's almost like we're singing We Are the World, the Michael Jackson song. It's feel-good stuff, right? It sounds good to the masses, but it's not the truth. It's what we think people want to hear. Yes. What is really at the core, just like with Michael Jordan Jr. got cut from the team, and he also wanted to impress girls. That was part of his inspiration. It's very primal. Now, eventually, as he got older, the motivations became a little more altruistic. But at the very beginning, we need to get to that primal root of us, of what is really driving us. Why is this really important? Is there an insecurity? Is there something from childhood? Do you have an enemy? Are you trying to prove a point to someone? None of these things are bad. It's all about your perspective and utilizing whatever emotion that you can, because logic is one thing when we're going after goals. We need logic, but we really need emotion. Yeah. That's it. We need those 2 things together. And so a lot of times we're missing the emotional component of why it's important. And so different people, it's going to be different things. For some people, you can really tap into them when I'm talking and think about, I was like, you got a daughter right now. She's about 3-4 years old. So I don't know, let's say maybe 20-25 years from now, she's getting ready to get married, some nice young gentleman, and you like him and everything. He's getting ready to walk her down the aisle. But will you be there with the way you're going right now? What do you think? And let's say 3 years after that marriage, let's say they start having kids and everything. And will you get to see them? He will say, yeah, I think so. Okay. Are you going to be able to see them, or are you going to be an active participant in their life? And he's like, oh, okay. And then we keep probing. And so I'm like, how is it? Let's say you're 40 years old right now. What about when you're 85, right? And you have these great grandkids? how do you want to feel? How do you want to look? How do you want to move? How do you want to operate? How do you want your reputation? How do you want all these things to be? I want a vivid picture, however you want it to be. And therefore, now we can reverse engineer back, and we're going to train and do things that give us the best chance of being that version 45 years in the future. So we are essentially predicting the future and creating the future.
Yeah, indeed.
Left to my own devices, if I don't have any type of structure, if I don't have any type of structure or anything, I'm a walking disaster. I'm a procrastinator, and I'm a slacker. I'm not going to get things done. And so I needed to create some stakes. I needed to not be tempted to take something right now that's going to give me short-term pleasure, but may lead to long-term agony. I needed to find a way to be patient in the moment, but still be consistent, so I can have a more fruitful future.
Sure.
And so I started thinking about those things, and that got me excited. So like today, I just got done running. This running is cool, but today's run, and then my workout later, that's really going to benefit me 25 years from now. That's why I did it today, so it could benefit me 25 years from today. Because today, it's whatever. I'm a little tired, a little sweaty. It was a little cold outside. But 25 years from now, I'm going to thank myself that I still did this run and these things today.
That is amazing. So when you then are coaching the chief executives, the leaders of today and tomorrow, you are saying to them, what are you saying to them now? How would they be thinking about getting in touch with you at this early stage in our discussion? Because some people may get distracted. Would you like to just say these amazing ideas you're talking about? How would they access your coaching, your training?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can just go to executivehealth.io, and there's a contact page, and answer two or three questions there, and you'll hear back from me.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for that. So moving forward, you talk about downtime. Would you like to elaborate on that for our leaders?
Like downtime in terms of like relaxation? Well, I think you could go a bunch of different angles when you're thinking about downtime. And I think the angle that I would think about is a lot of times and once again, this is talking to myself, is that when we think about downtime, you're not doing something. And for a lot of people, they may be like me. You like to be doing something. You like the feeling of doing something, right? You like to essentially stay busy. And so one of the hardest things for me is just to sit and do nothing. You're just sitting. I feel like unproductive, like I should be doing something else. But the cool thing that's happening then is that there's a lot of things working in the back of our mind. Some people would say it's a subconscious mind. And there's a lot of ideas that are permeating, getting marinated in, making connections. And it's during that time, that downtime, when some of our best ideas actually hit us. Some of these revelations, they hit us. And so we need deliberate downtime for creativity. Of course, we need downtime for restoration, recovery in our body, because as much as you have your foot on the gas pedal and you're a hard charging individual, you're going after your dreams and your business, you're going after it with your fitness and your workouts, you have to give the appropriate amount of time for restoration and recovery. But for me, the downtime is a time to also pour into your relationships, pour into some of the things that you enjoy outside of work. So for some people, that can be doing different types of Latin dancing. I enjoy doing that. So I picked that up, learning languages, or just investing in your relationships. Because a lot of times the reason why we work hard is for the relationships and the most important people in our life.
Absolutely. And I know people are so full of intentions. It's like, this is January 2024. People have written their goals. They say, this is what we want to do. I want to have downtime. I want to go to the gym. I want to be studying. How would you help people to keep focusing on those ideas, on those goals and dreams.
Yeah, one thing I'll put my hand up and just say, like, just slow down. Just slow down, right? You're not changing the world in in a few weeks into January. You're not going to change the entire trajectory of the world or anything. Just slow down. I want you to get through this month doing what you said you were going to do on January the 1st. That's
Sure.
that's one milestone, because we know that a lot of people who have these resolutions, or this is the new habit I'm going to do this year. We know they usually fall off in a few weeks into January, and definitely into February. So what we're going to do is we're going to create milestones. So we're getting over the initial hump of the first wave of people that quit and they get out of their goals. And then we'll crank it out. So it's a principle called, think of this as you're slowing down so you can speed up later.
Sure.
So we're really focused on setting the foundation right now, creating a very solid foundation of habits, routines, and structure. And, speaking from a fitness context and a health context, one of the biggest issues that people tend to fall off with is due to it's hard to balance their professional life, their personal life with their fitness. So our goal right now is we want to make all these things symbiotically mesh with each other. So it's not just my fitness life, my business life. This is just my life in general. So it's not they don't exist in silos. This is just who I am. Because when I'm working out and training my body, I'm also training my mind.
Yeah.
And so when I'm training my mind, I'm also training my body. So these things all go together. So we're trying to symbiotically, like I said, mesh all these things together.
That is powerful. And audience, you are hearing this amazing ability to have a life that is entwined, not separated, and having that wholeness to lifestyle, and sort of balancing that, so that you, as you're hearing about taking January and saying what goals we have set ourselves, and saying actually baby steps, right?
I would just say we're built. It's looking at it like building a house, because if it's and also when you're thinking about balancing, sometimes the word balance scares people. It scares me. It scares me because balance means different things to different people. Some people will probably look at my life, my habits, and my mindset, and the way I look at life, and they'll say, "Wow, Julian, you're very unbalanced. You're very chaotic." And to me, I feel great. I'm living the dream. This is balance to me. So when we say balance is going to be subjective, and it's going to be applicable to you. And what does balance look like to you? What makes you feel your best? That's what we're striving for. And so we are, for a little people, it is baby steps. That's helpful because, as I remind people, especially we'll take weight loss. So somebody says, I want to lose 15 pounds. Well, and they're doing all these things, right? Just out the gate. And I remind them, I was like, how long did it take you to gain that 15 pounds? I don't know, a couple of years or so. So why do you think you're going to lose this in 16 days? It makes sense. Yeah. And so once again, just slow down. Just slow down. Do the preliminary work, build the foundation up, and then we can keep this train moving. Because the worst thing is just to do a bunch of different things and the foundation is not solidified, and all this is going to fall down. It's like me going in a house, and I'm putting up the nice lamps, the chandeliers. I'm picking out pictures and everything, but my foundation in the house is sand. It's putty. That's not very good for the house. The house is going to fall apart quite soon, or the next time it's going to rain very hard.
True. So you need a solid foundation.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, okay. Really, really great, and some great nuggets there. So when you talk about in your bio, you're talking about entrepreneurship, talking about CEOs, leaders, and leaders can be, the people who are starting out and they manage to get to where they want quicker, or if there is somebody there who is saying, okay, I want to be that leader, I want to be that CEO that you can then coach or work with, the journey to that space, what advice would you give to somebody who is listening and saying, they're not there yet, and they are aspiring to become a
Okay,
leader?
so they're aspiring to become a leader of maybe a company or their
Yes,
business or
yes.
something. Okay, yeah, it's the first thing. It's the lesson that was given to me is the most important leadership step, the most important leadership habit is yourself, leading yourself. That's, before you can lead others, whether it's a family, whether it's a team of 3, or whether it's a team of 1,000 people, you have to first and foremost be a leader of yourself.
Mm,
And so
mm,
everyone can do that. Leadership starts with keeping the word, keeping the promises that you make to yourself. If you're going to do something, you do it. If you put it on the list, you do it. So do you have discipline? Do you have, you can work on your communication skills. There's a lot of different things you can do right now to get
mm.
yourself ready. One of the things that I always do is a concept I call future learning. So I will save videos on YouTube, go to podcasts, or get a handful of books on a subject that I want to learn about, even if I'm not remotely there yet. But what I'm doing is I'm getting myself ready. I'm training my mind for this moment. I'm already acting like I'm that person, because to me, as I talk to myself, there's no past, there's no future, there's only right now. So I need to go ahead and start acting and being that person right now. There's no faking it till you're making it. There's no acting as if. There's just being. So
Yes.
if my intent and desire is to be a leader of men and women, then I'm going to be that person right now. And so what does that person do? How does he move? How does he talk? How does he go about himself? You can even think about, how does he dress, and how does he connect on social media? Every single aspect. You can do that now. So you don't have to say, oh, well, when I get to this moment, I'm going to start doing this. No, 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 no. Just do it now, like immediately. Just snap your fingers and do it now. You're that person right now.
I
That's
love
it.
it.
You're not saying I want to, because when you say a lot of times, I want to be this, I want to do that, I want to have this, to want something is saying that you have a lack of something.
To want something is showing that you have a lack of something. Wow. That is powerful.
Yeah, because I heard people say, I want more money, I want love, but you could, those things are really, we really quote unquote want those things, or I want a better body, I want to lose 15 pounds. All of these things, there's a feeling behind it. And that's why we desire those things. So the question is, what is the feeling that those things bring? So for somebody who maybe wants to lose more weight, for me, when I started off super scrawny. So when I wanted more muscle and more weight, what is the feeling I wanted? What is the feeling I want? It's a feeling of maybe control, maybe a feeling of more self-confidence, a feeling of belief in yourself, or a feeling of impact, all these different things. And when you get that feeling down, pretty much you can create those types of feelings this moment today. You can impact someone right now just by talking to them or helping them or listening to them. You can have a feeling of control by bringing more discipline into your life. And now you have more of a sense of control of your life.
Wow, that is powerful. So within that element of control, I know you mentioned discipline before, and to walk and talk and be in the space of discipline. How would you help someone who is listening to say, this is how you can support them to be able to be disciplined?
Yeah. So we're going to create constraints. We're going to create parameters around your life. There's a story of, let's see, Dr. Seuss. So Dr. Seuss, I think it was, I forgot which book it was, but he only could use a certain amount of words to create the book, and he had a time frame to create the book as well. And he got it done, and it's one of his best sellers. I don't know if it's Green Eggs and Ham or All the Places That You'll Go. I don't remember which one, but it's one of those books. And so I bring that up is because when there's no timeline, there's no constraints or anything, we're not going to get it done because there's no urgency, there's no structure, there's no intention, there's no focus. And we have enough going on. Life is busy in itself. Life is distracting. So it's going to get put on the back burner unintentionally. So the first thing I'm going to do is, for a lot of these people, we use calendars. Everybody loves a Google Calendar these days, Outlook, iCloud, you name it. So we're going to look at the calendar and we're going to say, okay, these are your work hours, right? Okay, where can we plug in your workout at? If the workout is something that we struggle with consistency, where can we plug in your workout at? Are we going to do it at the beginning of the day? Are we going to do it in the middle of the day, kind of like a halftime? Or are we going to do it at the end of the day, like a bookend? Each of them has their own pros and cons, but we're just worried about where are we going to plug this thing in at? Next, we're going to look at their food. Okay, how's your eating? Let's say, well, I do good at breakfast. Breakfast is pretty good. I do good at my first meal of the day. I do pretty good at dinner, but the middle of the day is just sometimes where things get a little messed up at. Okay, let's make a strategy around lunchtime. Maybe we could have something prepared ahead of time. Maybe we can use a meal delivery service. There's a bunch of options, but we're going to think about it and we're going to create a strategy. For some people, it's business travel. They do well at home. It's like a sports team. They play very good at home, right? It's comfortable. They're familiar with the surroundings. But when they travel on the road, they lose every single time. They fall off. They're just not themselves. Well, how can we fix that to make you an away team that performs a little better? So it's just those things right there. So we're thinking about every single thing of how they go about their life, and then we're going to assess it and analyze it, and we'll just make improvements. We'll be like a scientist. We're going to have a hypothesis. We're going to experiment and try this, and then we're going to see our results, and then we'll go from there.
So going back to when you started talking about your initial investment in wanting to become a doctor, and then you changed your mind, the transitioning and acceptance of the change of path, because then just thinking about somebody who is listening out there thinking, oh gosh, I'm doing something that I'm not quite happy with. How do I transition to become the leader in a different space? Talking about that discipline element that you're mentioning in the focus of doing, become.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is, the thing that got me was there was this, I call it a virus and an illness that nobody talks about as much, but it's one of the most potent things out there. And you hate it when you're around it and you just hear it and you see it, it just brings you down. And that thing is regret. I did not want to have regret, because I did not want to be those people that's 65, 70 years old. They're telling me stories I remember as a kid, and they're like, well, I wish I would have did this. I should have just did this. And I was like, oh man, like the shoulds and the would haves. And I was like, you gotta give me a break on that. I didn't want that. And so I thought about, okay, what's the pros? What's the cons? I wrote it down and everything. And I got to talk to people, and they gave me perspective in terms of what to really expect when you're trying to create something from nothing, in my case, or and what psychologically what to expect. And even then there was things unexpected, but the reward, that's what got me. It's just the idea, when I close my eyes and just imagine, 20 years down the line or 25 years down the line, and somebody's coming up to me now and asking me, how'd you do what you do, or what did it take and everything? What should I expect? And just being able to give them an answer and just to see the rewards of the fruits of your labor, and be a person in your family who dramatically changed the entire trajectory.
Yeah.
was something powerful for me. And so for other people, that might not be the case,
Mm.
but I do want them to think about regret. And in my case, school is always going to be there. They
Mm.
love, in America, they love to give out student loans. So that wasn't going to be an issue. They love it. Nothing more than they would love to get a student loan with some interest on it. So that was me just looking at it from that standpoint. And,
Wow.
and I just thought that you got to do it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to, the people before me. I know a lot of my family story before me, some of the hardships they did. And I just thought, you just got to do it. And you'll have some sacrifices. There's going to be a lot of ugly days. I will say that. And I'm very much in journey right now. So I'm by no means at the finish line. And so, but it's a very rewarding experience. And so you're trying to cross industry, whatever industry that they're in right now and that they're wanting to go into, their skill sets in their industry right now that is beneficial that they can use in this new industry.
Yes.
And secondly, that's going to help make them unique in this new industry is that they're pulling a lot of ideas from this other industry. So you're bridging something new. So that's actually a unique and competitive advantage of yours. The trick is to figure out your voice, to figure out how to utilize that, how to share it. And that's where you just have to keep doing, and eventually you'll find it. I'm still finding my voice years later. Trust me on that. I've had so many different iterations of business and just my thought process, because going back to the beginning of this conversation, my philosophy in life is about growth and evolution. So I believe in constant reinvention and learning, because you get new downloads every day as you get wiser, you get more experience doing things, and so you can become a more optimal version of yourself.
I love that. I love that. And the evolution element, because when you think about how everything changed with COVID, and we talk about the AI, artificial intelligence, in the space that we are in, people talk about Bitcoin, they're talking about all different ways of decentralization. And as you're saying, the learning, the changing, it's quite inspirational when, as you say, one is willing to go through those transitions. Would you elaborate on how you would coach someone who is coming to you with just wanting that kind of support to transform, to revolutionize and make changes that impact their family, not just today, generations to come?
Yeah, a lot of times if someone's that aspirational and they have these grand schemes, it can at the very beginning feel very overwhelming and overwhelming, and you have all these big ideas and you're thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to do these things. I have absolutely no idea. And I actually think the best thing in that moment is just to think about what can you do today to take some positive steps toward that, because it gets overwhelming to think about, oh man, I'm going to change this whole industry, or I'm going to be doing this and that and that. And it gets really, really overwhelming. So for me, as much as I think about the big moments and just the whole legacy impact of things, I really just focus on winning today.
Yes.
And I have 5 things on my journal that I want to accomplish today. 5 basic habits. It's things I can control. So it's not like so-and-so delivers this for me, or this investment does this or anything like that. It's, I made an important email so-and-so. Did you do that? Check mark. Reach out to 10 people, connect with 10 people today. Did I do that? Check mark. Study for 1 hour. Did I do that? Check. So it's things like that. But I know all those things right there. One is building relationships. I know that's important. The other one is studying and continually refining my craft and learning more. That's important toward the big picture. But these are small and daily things I can do today. And at the end of the night, when I get done with all 5 of these things, I can put a win. I can put a W at the top of the page to say I won today. And
Yes.
that's all I can do today. Same thing tomorrow, rinse and repeat. Did you win
Yes.
the day or did you not win the day? And
Yes.
over time, that consistency will lead you to the thing you want. I guarantee it.
Wow.
So
I love it.
and that's what I'm telling myself, because I'm very much in the middle of the race. But
Mm.
it's, have an idea of where you want to go, have the vision, but be very malleable and open to how you're going to get there. And
Wow.
really just focus on the very moment today and trying to win today, and then just leave it at that.
Win today. 5 things that you concentrate on. Coach Gillian, where do people find you again? Because I think it's so crucial that people who are listening, the audience here, that they can access your services, your coaching, your life-changing coaching. How do they get to you?
You can simply go to executivehealth.io and just head to the contact page, and that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Audience, the amazing nuggets that have been dropped today is really for you to consider, reflect on, because this is life transforming. It's such a time as this to have a coach like you, Gillian, with all the knowledge you've experienced, transition, you have been on a path of changing lives around how people lead, how people live their lives day to day, how they can concentrate on health, their wealth, mental well-being, and relationships. And I think, when we just talk about them, we can just kind of be dismissive.
Mm-hmm.
But the foundation you talked about is something that is so key. And everyone need a coach. And I think, as you mentioned, Michael Jordan, for him to be able to perform at that high level, he had a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So why would anyone in the audience think they can just go through life in trial and error when you have a coach like Gillian who can guide you so that you're not wasting time? As you say, time is very valuable, and it's how we are trained to capitalize on that. And you talked about mindset. Is there anything that you want to add on that? Because the mindset of excellence is so key.
No, it's just, one of the last things, I love to say this is just do things for the intention, not the attention.
Please repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Do things for the intention, not the attention.
Not the intent. Oh, do things for the intention,
Mm-hmm.
not the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the ego kicks in.
The ego kicks in, and a lot of times that can veer you off the path, because a lot of times people see different trends or and things and fads to jump on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really something that is going to lead you toward where you really want to go? So you have to be very intentional. Some people might say TikTok's the fad or Instagram's the fad, but I don't know, maybe LinkedIn or Facebook's better for your business. And that's why you have to be intentional and purposeful with your actions.
Yes. Wow. Success, success, success. So for success to happen, and I liked it because when I read your profile, it's in capital letters.
Mm-hmm.
I love
yeah. Well, that's the name of the public. That's the name of the publication. They always capitalize it.
Yes. That is amazing. Lovely, lovely to hear that. So the audience is just hearing all the nuggets that you are sharing. And as we round off to come to the end of this podcast, what 3 things would you say to your younger self?
Mm-hmm. Oh man. So young Julian, let's see. Let's go. Let me think about young Julian. Oh, this is probably, let's say, number 1 is to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is to don't talk so bad to yourself. And number three is to, there's a lot of different ones in my head, but thinking about young Julian, the number three is probably smile more.
I love that. It's free. It's free. Oh, okay. Oh, so are you smiling more these days? I love it.
I'm smirking. I'm not a full smiler, but I give a few more smirks, and I'm a little more lighthearted and joking around with people. So yes, I took that advice.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. So with all the knowledge, you talked about learning a lot and just finding space to invest in ourselves and focusing on a topic or something that we are interested in. For the audience hearing this, it's quite encouraging that you're saying life is always about learning.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily being at a university, or because it's life is the university of life. There's
Yeah.
no stopping to develop that learning. And I was reading that, I don't know if you heard about how Bill Gates reads however many books. And
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to the audience about that?
It's needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to do it, but if you simply have to match your level of ambition to your daily behaviors. So whatever that's going to be. So I would never say you have to read and point at them or say you have to continue learning. Look, if you're happy with what you are, and let it be. A lot of times, though, people are not happy. People want to improve. And if you want to improve, then you obviously have to do the work to be the person that you say you want to be, maybe a leader of all people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That person is probably well studied and reads. And so it's just part of the cost. Everything has a cost. That's it. Yeah. Everything, there's a cause and effect to everything. And these are the balances. So this is just part of the cost. As simply as how I look at it.
And for these leaders to have a return on investment, on capital, profiting the business, is how would you talk about just the responsible management, how you would support these leaders to be able to make their organizations, their businesses, or their lives profitable, if we talk about the financial side of things?
Yeah, I normally don't go into the financial side. I usually stick to just the health and the productivity performance side of things. There's a lot of good books out there, and there's a lot of more smart people who really love money and investments, and so that's where I get my advice from. So I wouldn't directly say that. So because a lot of it depends on your age, your risk tolerance, a lot of other things. So I'm still learning on that in myself.
All right. Oh, wonderful. So if there's one book that you would say you read and it changed your life, just one book, which book would you advise the audience to probably think about reading?
I think Power versus Force is a very good book to read, because you're going to learn about different levels of energy and frequency that you can operate throughout the day, and so that's been a very important book in my life. I think that's a very good book that people can start with.
Would you repeat it again, just in case?
Power versus Force.
Power versus Force. Wonderful. I love it. Power versus Force. So that's life-changing. Julian, you are amazing. You are a true thought leader. You change lives, and you are impacting lives daily. I would like to say thank you, much gratitude for taking time to come to this interview, this podcast, The Mindset of Excellence, because you give, you exude, you are that because you focus on changing lives. And as you said, you talk about health, and that is an integral part. Health excellence is an integral part of our lives, and every leader needs that. You are brilliant, and I thank you so much. Continue being brilliant. And I do hope you'll come back again for another session on this podcast. Before you go, can you please just tell people your website again?
Absolutely. It's executivehealth.io.
Executivehealth.io.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, audience, you know where to go. Executivehealth.io. Simple. Just log onto that website and you will be able to see all the aspects of coaching that Coach Gillian gives. Thank you again for coming to this website. Really appreciate you and much gratitude.
Thank you as well. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you. God bless. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Lady D offers one-on-one and group coaching with 10 master keys. These systems and structures will realign you with what you were born to do. Lady D delivers hands-on coaching, training, and mentoring with boldness, empathy, diplomacy, respect, wisdom, and inclusion in a safe environment, breeding true community spirit. Sharpen your strengths, talents, and gifts to avoid pitfalls. Get networked with confidence to excel. Begin your journey today by going to careerleadershipcoachingtoday.com or dorschoto.com.